All right, here we are about midway through Saturday of Spiel 2017. Excited to be sitting down with designer, friend, patron, and sold out designer.
The whole package.
Right, Mark Gerrits. So Mark, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, this is exciting. So how many Spiels have you gone to before?
Oh, I think this is somewhere around 10, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it a lot bigger now than when you first started
Yeah,
coming?
it changed a lot during all that time.
You having a good time though?
Yes. Exhaustion is beginning to set in.
Which
but,
usually
we're
does the
keeping
second
up.
half of Saturday,
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So yeah, sold out. Mini rails. Congratulations.
Yeah, I still can't believe how well the game is doing. It's been really great.
Fantastic game. I mean, we did a
thank you.
playthrough
Yes.
of it.
Yeah,
We
it was a
reviewed
really
the
nice
game.
one.
It's an amazingly simple mechanical game, but the depth and the agony. You have two choices in the game, and it's just agony on what to do. So give us a little bit of background on how Mini Rails came to be.
So I did another train game first, Steamrollers, which is sort of Age of Steam, the dice game, basically. And so I thought, I took Age of Steam and I simplified it. Can I do that now with another type of train game, like with Chicago Express, that type of game? And that was how I started. And it started as a dice game, and then it kept changing and changing until what you have now.
So how long was from the idea of it until, okay, it's done?
It's hard to tell because when I develop, it's very sporadic. So I have like these bursts, and then it stays in the drawer for a while, and there's another burst. So the first recognizable version was I think a month or so, and then it was set aside for a while, and then it was still 2 months or so working.
Oh wow, that's
so
pretty quick.
Pretty quick. I was lucky to hit on the core design pretty quickly. Sometimes you get lucky like that, and yeah.
Was there anything especially difficult as far as trying to solve a problem within the game design itself?
Yeah, it's the money, right? It's always the money. If you want to simplify the money away, it's very, very difficult because it's a stock-based game to start with. The big example there is, of course, Paris Connection or SNCF, but I wanted to have like a limited set of shares available each turn, so you can't have just basically the same value for each share at the end, because then if you're first player in the last turn and you pick up the huge ass share, then you've won basically. So the whole system that you only track the differential in the share, which looking back looks very simple, but took a while to hit on.
All right. Yeah, it's funny how I have heard from multiple designers that sometimes like when you get that aha moment when it clicks.
Yeah.
It's one of those. Well, yeah, obviously, but it took you a long time, or it was difficult to get to that. Well, yeah, obvious point, right?
Yeah, and if you work backwards, it's like, of course, yeah.
So you would mention Steamrollers. So yeah, this is the second edition was on Kickstarter,
Yes.
and the first edition was Spiel last year, or the year
No,
before
it was 2
that.
years
year before
ago.
that.
Yes.
So you want to tell folks about Steamrollers?
Yeah, Steamrolls is a roll and write, but like I think almost the heaviest roll and write around.
So let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
A roll and write. For those that don't know, what is that?
Okay, of course. The classic example is Yahtzee. It's where you roll dice and then you write something down.
Literally as
Roll
it sounds,
and write.
right? Yeah.
So now the new ones are a bit different. Like with Steamrolls, it's a dice draft, so it's not like your 3 re-rolls kind of thing. But so with Steamrolls, what you're doing is basically you're really drawing your train tracks instead of tiles or anything like that, and that just sounded to me like a really fun way to approach an Age of Steam type train game.
And the Kickstarter was successful.
Yeah, it was 350%, so that was nice.
That's pretty strong, I think, right?
Yeah. We got a bit of buzz with the earlier edition, which the best of players bought, of course.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to get one of the copies, so yes, thank you.
So yeah, and I think we also got lucky with the artist because I don't know if you've seen the new artwork, but it's like a very European comic book design, and it's looking really nice. Looking really nice.
So what's the status on that? I know the Kickstarter just ended, right?
Yeah, it's just ended. Here at the fair, we're taking late pledges. In a week or two, it's going to the factory, and then first half of next year, it will be ready and be sent out.
Okay, is it going to be a wide release as far as after that, or is it only for the Kickstarter backers and the late pledges?
It's the publisher is trying something new because he's a small publisher. He's having difficulty sometimes getting into the stores. So for this game, he's trying a Kickstarter exclusive for 1 year. So for 1 year, you don't find it in the normal retail channels except for stores which backed it during the campaign. So it might be hard to find for a year or so. Though some of those stores might be online stores, so that might be ways to get it.
Okay, are there future plans that they're doing, or that you? I don't know if the rights revert back to you or how all that works, but after a year from now, any plans or to be determined? To be determined.
They will analyze how it went, and then it might go into stores.
Okay.
The idea is that year can create some buzz so that the stores know about the game and so on, because that's a big problem for a small publisher. Nobody knows about your games, basically.
Fair enough. No,
I mean, like people like you and us, we know about them, but the general public is not going to walk into a game store and ask for steamrollers.
Fair point. And I think it's an interesting way to go about it. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or otherwise. Just
me neither. Yeah.
It's an interesting take on it, and we'll see how it works. It's an experiment.
It's an experiment, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So, briefly, a little background on like how did you come about wanting to take these bigger games and, I don't want to say streamline, but kind of simplify and boil down. I guess somewhat simplify or streamline.
Yeah, I think it's just the way my brain works as a designer. Like I like playing heavy, complex games, but when I try to design something, I find it impossible to make it too complex. Like everybody else I hear, it's like, oh yeah, we started with all these rules and then we had to like cut them down and make them simpler. And I was like, no, we had to like introduce extra rules to mini rails to make it like more interesting. Like the turn order, that wasn't there at the beginning, so we had to make it more complex.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, so that actually goes against what a lot of designers go. So, but what inspired you to get that started, to even start designing like this?
Well, I'm part of a gaming group in Brussels, and there are some designers who pass through or who are part of it sometimes. Like Etienne Esperman, the designer of Bruxelles, I always forget the year, but you know the one.
Right.
Or Philippe Gayards of Small World and so on. So like you play with these people and you notice they're normal people.
It's amazing to me, especially being here at Spiel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a who's who, right? And they're just geeks like us.
Exactly.
I mean, that's it, right?
So then you get the maybe I should give this a try. And then you fail horribly for like 5 or 10 games, and then it starts going. Yeah, that's nice. But the advantage was that the group of players are used to playing prototypes now and again, so that then you could roll into it easier.
And really good feedback, I imagine, from that source of players right there, right? That are designers themselves, so they know what kind of feedback you want.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Cool. So, I mean, obviously, Steamrollers just finished Kickstarter. Mini Rails just sold out. Yes. So they're both kind of more current and just off the presses, so to speak. But there's always got to be something. What's next? So do you know?
I have currently nothing which is signed at publishers. I have a few prototypes which I'm shopping around here.
Okay.
They're even more streamlined and simpler than mini rails. And I think after this fair, I'll take a little break, and then I'm going to try to get back to the level of a steamrollers or mini rails, the complexity of
all right, sets. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to what it is you come out with next, because you're on quite the roll, no pun intended. So yeah, hopefully you and I can sit down and have a longer interview down the road.
Yes, no problem.
I would really like to delve into the background and how you go about coming up with these games. So Cool. Mark, have a safe trip home. Try and survive the last day and a half of Spiel. And thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you. Have a nice fair still.
All right, thanks.